Hey everybody, and welcome back. This is your host Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. We have a lot of exciting stuff to share with you today. There's a lot going on in the week ahead. We're going to prepare for it right now together. But first, we are growing at an enormous rate. Our channel is just taking off. We've grown by 40% over the last 2 weeks. We are putting out great content every day. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that right now by clicking the subscribe button. You could also hit the bell to be alerted. We are live streaming every day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to include in the description a link today to today's live stream video. It was phenomenal. There is so much for you to learn. Watch the first 30 minutes of it this weekend, and the amount that you're going to learn in those 30 minutes is going to blow your mind. If you are able to be present for the live streams, that's awesome. If you're not, don't worry. You could watch the replays, which are uploaded every day. The first 30 minutes of the video each day is going to build off our weekly Forex forecast, and it's going to give you live updates as things are developing day to day. We're taking some really good trades in there. We are picking our setups. People are learning a lot. Do join us. All right, time to kick this off. Let's get going. We're going to start with the euro US dollar. And this is not, we're going to zoom out here. Take a look on the daily. We always start on the daily time frame, and then we look down at lower time frames. We've had this nice, beautiful breakdown of this channel that we've been able to profit from. Actually, just yesterday, we started taking profits in our target area as price stalled and then bounced off of this support that we have been watching. That's why it makes sense to watch the live streams, follow the live streams every day. This is the best way to stay up to date with the market as trade setups are occurring. What's happening right now going into next week? We see price currently getting close to, we're going to draw that in for you right now. We have a resistance area right over there. Let's change that color, because resistance will be marked as red. So you can see here, drew it in the chart, we have the first resistance area. We are looking for sell trades right now, even though we've seen price come up these last 2 days. We have this big sell zone we're coming into. Let's drop down to the 8 hour and try to get a nicer look at that. Let's drop down to the 8 hour and get a nicer look at this. We could see here, we are coming off this support. The trend is down. We have here the true trend using the 30/70 settings. There's a link to it in the description below. If you're not familiar with it, go ahead, invest your time to watch it. It's worth every second. Understand how we use this guide for entering into our setups with the precision type, sniper type entries. You could see here that we are looking for sells. The trend is down. You can see below the zero line, the entry CCI is pulled back. We're coming up against resistance. This is a perfect textbook setup for us. We might get an entry here, hopefully sometime on Monday. This pair will go towards the top of the list as we are approaching this resistance. And if price takes us back into the trade, that's going to be a beautiful entry. We're going to be taking a look at this one for sure Monday morning, or whether or not price makes it through this first resistance and gets closer up to this higher resistance before rolling over. Either which way, we're going to watch it. This looks like a nice setup. It's going to the top of the watch list. All right, let's jump over to gold. We're taking a look at XAU US dollar. And what we're seeing happening here is similar price action. We're seeing this bounce up here, but we're coming towards resistance. Gold is actually backing off. The US dollar is making some nice gains today off of this resistance here. Let's see what that looks like on the 8 hour time frame. You could also see this was coming off the breakdown of a channel. You had over here this beautiful test of the resistance. After support was broken, it became resistance, and then the follow through to the downside. It looks like now we might be getting the next wave down. We have some nice room to roam before our take profit area in this blue zone over here. So if this trade gives us an entry, we're going to be looking to get into it. Let's see what this looks like on the 8 hour time frame, so we could get a more precision like entry. And we see the rejection here off the resistance, price coming back down, and now in this downtrend, price is currently overbought against the downtrend. We'll be looking for an entry as early as the opening on Monday during Asia and London to see if this downtrend resumes. See if gold comes back down. Our stop is well defined. It's right up here above this resistance area, or it's right above this last swing high. This also looks like a really good trade developing. Keep your eyes on gold going into the Monday session. All right, let's take a look now at the US dollar, Japanese yen, which today has given us a nice entry. This was discussed in the live stream today. We'll take a look at it right now and see what is happening. And you could see right here, you see this long rising wedge pattern developing. And you could see over here the downtrend. And now you have this rising wedge in the downtrend. If this breaks to the downside, and it looked like it was going to do that just yesterday, you could see price here towards the end of the New York session was outside of this support area, and it looked like we were breaking through. Then we had some news. We had Kudlow come on the wires and say that it looks like the US and China were getting close to ironing out the details of a trade deal, which is why you're seeing yen pairs come off today. And you saw here the US dollar jump back into this rising wedge. So how do we play it? Let's look down, jump down to the 8-hour time frame so we could get a better look at what's going on. You could see over here, and this is something we've been watching, something we're following day to day, all these currency pairs on the live stream. If you can't be available, watch the replay. But we talked about if price were to bounce off this support of this trend line, be looking to take longs. We have the first take profit area up around here. And then really, we're just going to watch how price reacts over here. The take profit is towards the upper end of this resistance of this rising wedge. So this looks like a nice trade with some nice potential. But if you didn't get in it yet today, and I thought I had gotten it, I didn't get into this trade. I thought I had gotten this trade. I thought my trade backfilled and got into it. The entry was over here. I didn't get it overnight. I tried to get it in the New York session. I didn't get filled. What do I do now? Well, simple. I'm waiting for price to pull back. You could see price is now oversold as the trend is crossing. I don't ever chase price. There's always more opportunities. And on the trades you don't get an opportunity to get in, that's just the way it is. There's always more. The market's always going to be there. There's always other setups. Pick your setups. Take the good setups. You don't need to trade every setup. You'll make much more money. You'll make much more money taking the good setups. You got to be patient. So what am I going to do? I'm going to wait to see if price pulls back. If price pulls back, maybe it'll come even and test this support right again. And if it tests support and then it starts resuming upward, if price gets me back into the trade, I will be able to get into this trade maybe on Monday, maybe early in the week. I will be watching it because it looks like a good one. Like I said, we have so much going on this week. The market's really setting up. And again, patience really pays off. In trading, patience is the greatest skill you need to develop. So far, we have things shaping up on gold, on the Euro US dollar, and also here, US dollar, Japanese yen looks like a close pair to follow for a trade entry. Let's keep going. US dollar, Canadian dollar, you could see that we just have setups all across the board. We've been watching now for a couple of weeks this sell zone. Prices came into the sell zone and it looks like it's being rejected. Someone in the live stream brought up this break of this trend line. I'm going to show you that on the 8-hour time frame to see what that looks like. This is absolutely, let's take a look right now. But first I want to show you, zoom back one little bit, and you could see this long downtrend. You can see this long downtrend over here, and you can see this move up here, which has been beautiful. This was discussed in detail today in the live stream. You can watch that replay. You will learn a lot if you spend 30 minutes this weekend watching that replay. And you can see this was a bull move in a bear market, all right? So a lot of profits to be made. Usually bull moves in bear markets are sharp, and there's a lot of profit ever since this the Bank of Canada met 2 weeks ago. But what's happening now, let's move down to the 8-hour, and we can see this clearly. I was looking personally, and you can't be a perfectionist in trading, and I was being a bit of a perfectionist looking for price to rise halfway up into the sell zone and get my entry in the top half, right? But what has happened? It's being rejected. You could see that price. I have resistance here and resistance up here. That's my sell zone. Price is now trading under this first resistance, and you see this yellow line, this trend line. Price broke through, closed below on the 8-hour, tested it, resistance held, and has now been coming off, right? So how do you get in here? We discussed this today. It's possible to be taking this entry right now. I'm waiting. You see this first line of support down here? We're going to change that to green. That should be marked as green. This first line of support down here, I am going to wait for this to break. If this does not hold this support, if this breaks down, I will be looking to short this pair. You'll see the true trend crossing over, and that will look to be like a possible phenomenal trade setting up. Adversely, it's possible this line of support now holds if price does come close to testing it. If the true trend is still positive, and the entry CCI will obviously be pulled back. If price takes me into that trade, we have some nice upside here to a retest of this trend line, which should now be acting as resistance for price into this sell zone. So this could be played both ways, but for me right now, it is just wait until it crosses this support line to the downside to get short, or bounces off it to get long. I'm just gonna wait a little longer and see what develops. All right, let's keep this flow going. We're making a lot of room today in a short amount of time. This is good. If you need to go back and watch this particular currency pair in your own time, really just go ahead and watch it. Watch what you need to watch in your own time. Stay with me. If you ask questions below in the comments, I'm going to answer them. I'm going to help you walk through anything you need to have a little more insight into. That's how this works. I've talked about earlier today with everyone that the more I share, the more that I develop you as a trader, the more it's going to help me, because you're going to be interacting with me and pointing out things, as that trend line we just looked at on the US dollar, Canadian dollar was pointed out by someone today in the live chat. All right, euro, Japanese yen, what do we see? Step back, always look with that bird's eye perspective. Just get a look of what's going on the daily time frame. No indicators, price alone. And what do we see? We see that we have this big channel, and this is awesome trading channel because it offers so much opportunity to the upside and downside, but we're trading within it. Price has definitely bounced off this. Again, please click on that link below in the description for today's live stream for November 15th. Go to the section where we're talking about the euro, Japanese yen. It gives a fantastic analysis. And what we saw happen, it explains why I missed this entry to the long side, what I was looking for. As you could see, it didn't come down and bounce off of this trendline support. It's coming off of this support we had over here. And I didn't get it. That's okay. I don't get every trade. I try to pick the good ones. So what do I need to do to get into this trade? Because we're still in the lower half of this channel, and price looks like it's going to be now going upwards to test the upper end. Let me look down on the 8 hour, and you can see what is going to happen. It looks like we're going to get a trend. It looks like we're going to get a trend change here on the true trend turning positive, and at that point, I'm going to wait here. You see prices right now butting up into this resistance right here. Hopefully, what happens is that price is then rejected a little bit, comes down to test this support. See this whole area? Price might base out in here for a little while before making its next move. If that move is down, if it breaks out of the channel, that's easy for us. And at the same time, if I get an opportunity to get long, this looks like a good trade. It doesn't look like a trade that's going to develop for me to get into on Monday, perhaps Tuesday the earliest, or it could be later in the week. But right now, we're just watching the flow of this pair, waiting for an entry to develop. That's not at the top of our list going into the week. That's why we plan ahead, and that's why we're aware of everything that's happening. We need to follow this one a little bit more and just wait for a better entry. A better entry is going to be closer to this trendline support, resting on top of this support here, and that's what we're going to be waiting and looking for. All right, let's keep it going. We have the Australian dollar, US dollar, and what do we see here? Well, we see, thankfully, we didn't chase price yesterday. A lot of traders saw the Australian dollar really selling off yesterday. A lot of traders got involved at the lower levels. We just exercised prudence and patience and stepped aside right there. And right now, I see that price is trading right back to this resistance. Let's look at it. The resistance line, this red line, why is it drawn there? Here you see this price action resistance. Then it broke through twice, and again was resistance. Price broke through, it became support here, broke through again, and now price is testing up here. Let's look down on the 8 hour because we are looking for shorts. And we have two things to keep an eye on right here. Number one, right now we're trading against this resistance. We have trade criteria with the true trend down, and we have the entry CCI pull back against it, letting us know we can now look if price makes a lower low than a previous price bar. That's a safe entry, a well-defined stop loss up here if we get into the trade. And we also have this trend line here, which is acting as resistance, as another support level. This is where the stop losses would go, either here or here. Most likely it would go up here, which means that since there's a lot of room here, the trade would be of a smaller size. That's if price takes us back into the trade. There is a good possibility that price may even make it past this support, this resistance, and go in and butt against this resistance up here. That would provide us a safer entry because the stop loss will be much smaller. We'll know where we're wrong. But we need to watch it. We're going to let price decide what happens on this one. If price starts resuming downward and gets us back into this trade, going to definitely take it. But right now, price has come up today. It's Friday afternoon. Price is oversold in a downtrend. It's trading at resistance right now. We're waiting next week as early as Monday to see if price resumes downwards or if this resistance is broken, because this resistance hasn't held multiple times. Price is known to blow through it. If it blows through it again, we're going to get another opportunity at a better price point to see if we could also get short. Moving forward, we have the pound US dollar, which is breaking out today. It is breaking out of this descending triangle pattern, which is consolidated this big up move, and it looks like price might be breaking out to new highs next week. Let's see what happened. Last Friday, I took this trade. I took this trade short on the breakdown of this triangle, and I had my stop at the high of the breakout bar. I was stopped out quickly on Monday. It was a false break, and then price went back into this pattern, and then today has also broken out to the upside. I didn't take the breakout. Why? I was burnt last week on it. All right, that was the loss I took last week on that trade. So what happens now? I'm looking here at the 8-hour time frame, and I see things are lining up. I see that the true trend has turned positive. I'm going to wait to see if price comes back down and test that breakout. This line, this trend line here, which has been offering resistance, should now be support. If price makes a successful test of this support, at that same time, the entry CCI will be pulled down. It'll be oversold in an uptrend. And I'm going to look for the slingshot back into that trade. I'm going to see if price takes me back into that trade to the upside and I get an opportunity to get long. I'm not looking for any type of shorts on this trade at the moment. I'm only looking to the long side. I don't know when this trade might develop. We'll be looking at it Monday morning, see what happened during the London session. And it's quite possible that just the opportunity to place some orders Monday morning during New York, but most likely this will develop later in the week. Either way, we are following it. All right, I do want to take a look now at the pound Japanese yen, and we see here this trade has been healthy, while other Japanese yen pairs later in this week were showing just breaking down in favor of the Japanese yen. This pair held its consolidation, right? You could see that. It held in this 3-week consolidation area after this enormous breakup. That's a bullish signal. You have the pound possibly breaking out versus the US dollar today. This is going to be a pair that held above. It held above the support line of this long trend line on the breakout. This all looks healthy. We have a nice move up into this take profit zone up here. So this is a pair to watch. I want to see what's going on the 8-hour time frame. Again, we're just now moving back within this range here. We're moving to the upside. You know that we need to wait for a pullback to get into this trade, but we want to be watching and stalking like cats on the prowl, because this looks like a nice trade. If we do get this breakout and we are able to get into the trade, we have some nice room before we could look for our take profit zone. So that could be a really nice trade developing, but it's not there yet, right? So far we have the Euro US dollar, we have gold, we have the Australian dollar US dollar. Those are the pairs that are really offering us. We have the US dollar, Canadian dollar getting ready. We have a lot of pairs that are close to entry. This is not one of them yet. back off a little bit on the pound US dollar, back off a little bit on the pound Japanese yen, wait for them to develop. We do this week want to look closer at the euro Australian dollar because it is offering also a possible opportunity. We have 3 pairs this week. We didn't get into the Australian dollar Japanese yen. We'll do that next. The Australian dollar US dollar, all 3 of them look like they're very close to offering an opportunity. However, be aware we do have the meeting minutes being released on Monday late in the day. That could affect any trade on the Australian dollar. Always be aware of the calendar. Really important. Let's take a look at it. This blue box is the previous week, last week's trading range. Price blew past it this week and has now been coming back down. I want to look on the lower time frame and see what happens. And you could see, although we've now moved into this new area. Let me draw that in for you. I could see a lot of price congestion up in there. You could see that range over there. We've moved back into it. Right? Not only have we moved back into it, this lower part of that square was resistance, is now support. Price has tested that support. I have trade criteria. I have the true trend positive. I have the entry CCI pulled away from it. I'm looking for price to resume this uptrend coming off of this tested support. And if that looks like a good entry, right? I have my well-defined stop loss below it. And I have a nice take profit towards the upper end of that range. So that looks like a nice trade. The only wild factor is the meeting minutes being released late on Monday. You have to be aware of that. We will follow it in the live stream. We're really going to get into those pairs and see as of Monday morning what type of opportunities they are offering. All right, here we are on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. And this was a trade that we missed. You could see this trend line here. You could see the big breakdown out of it. And we never had an opportunity to get in this trade. We looked at this trade multiple times during the week to see whether or not it been possible to get into it. There really wasn't an opportunity. 2 things. I do spend a lot of time analyzing the trades that I missed, the trades that I never got into, analyzing them, learning from them, seeing where I went wrong or if I didn't. In this case, there was just never an opportunity for me to get short this trade. I never did get short this trade. But I did exercise caution yesterday, not chasing price down here. Some people that were getting short and getting short down low, they did look for some help, some guidance on where to take profit. We had drawn in this line of support ahead of time, and price just did trade a little bit below it. That was the first take profit area to be discerning. This was the second if price continued to blow past it, which it hadn't. Right now, we're trading back up. Let's look at the 8-hour and see what's going on. And I see price has now entered into this sell zone. The trend is down. I have the resistance down here on the lower end of it. That's my first line of resistance. Price is trading above that right now. And the second line is at the top of this blue box, right? So what's going to happen? 2 things. We're going to be, again, we do have a high impact news event on Monday, late in the day on this pair. So you have to be cautious. If price starts trading below this blue box again, I'm going to be looking for an entry. I'm going to have the true trend definitely negative, and that's going to be a little safer. Same time up here, if we test up here early on Monday and start rolling over during New York towards the top end of this, I will look for an entry. I'll look for an entry, but I will talk about that and be looking at it more closely with you on Monday to see if it's offering actually a tradable event. Right now, we're just kind of looking at it, backing off a little bit, and just waiting for things to develop further. But let's also check out the New Zealand dollar. All right, this is going to be a quick one, but we're looking at the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. And the reason why I say it's going to be quick is you could see, look, price for the past 3 weeks has just been in this range, right? It's been consolidating in this range, and it hasn't really offered us any type of tradable event. Yeah, we did look at this one closely. Again, it's explained beautifully in the live stream that took place today, if you want to go ahead and watch that one. But we analyzed this trade perfectly. If you look over here, when price was trading really weak this day, we knew it's because of the central bank meeting. We knew there was an expected rate cut, and we cautioned against taking that trade. We cautioned if the central bank laid back that we were going to see price appreciate. That happened the next day. The next day we cautioned about chasing that move because price was trading up at this resistance, which has not held each and every time. Price came off and now it's testing back up. Good. Let's wait for a breakout. it's in a range for the past 3 weeks and it is not broken out of this range, we could wait for price to break out. We could wait for a price to break out and then offer us an opportunity to get in that trade. That is a much higher probability setup. That's what we're waiting for. No reason to even look down at the 8-hour time frame. There's nothing going on right now. That's it for this weekend, everyone. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for everyone who shares in this weekly Forex forecast with us. I love doing this analysis. I always loved spending the weekend looking at the charts, preparing for the week ahead. It's one of the most important parts of trading. Having a plan each and every day and developing that plan every day as the market flows is really going to improve your trading enormously. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll talk to you all on Monday.